Murder of Lisa Ann French. On October 31st, 1973, in Fond du Lac, 9-year-old Lisa Ann French dressed in a costume to go trick-or-treating. Around 6 p.m., she left her home carrying a bag for candy, planning to visit several neighbors she knew. She arrived at the residence of 25-year-old Gerald Miles Turner Jr., who lived nearby. Turner invited her inside. Once in the house, Lisa was assaulted and killed. Turner later admitted to assaulting her and stated she died from suffocation and circulatory failure during the assault. Instead of reporting the incident, he placed her body into a large plastic bag, then concealed it inside his residence until the following morning. He later transported the remains to a rural field near Taycheedah, where he left the bag in a wooded area. Lisa did not return home that evening, and her family reported her missing. A search effort was initiated by police and community volunteers. 2 days later, on November 3, 1973, her body was discovered. Autopsy findings confirmed asphyxia and evidence of assault. Turner was arrested months later after police interviews and his eventual confession. He was charged and, in February 1975, convicted of second-degree murder and enticing a child for immoral purposes. He was sentenced to 38 years and 6 months in prison. The Toolbox Killers. On October 31, 1979, in Los Angeles County, California, 16-year-old Shirley Ledford accepted a ride while hitchhiking home from a Halloween party in Sun Valley. She was picked up by Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris, who during the previous months had targeted multiple teenage girls across Southern California. Inside their van, Ledford was restrained with tape and rope. Both men subjected her to repeated assaults and prolonged torture. Tools, including pliers and ice picks, were used to inflict injuries, while portions of the attack were recorded on an audio tape later recovered by authorities. The recording documented prolonged screaming and physical abuse. Ledford sustained severe facial injuries, deep lacerations, and extensive internal trauma. After several hours, she was strangled with a wire coat hanger tightened around her neck with pliers. Her body was left in the vehicle overnight. In the early hours of November 1st, Bittaker and Norris discarded her remains on a residential lawn in Los Angeles County. The victim was discovered the following morning by a passerby who immediately contacted police. Bittaker and Norris were taken into custody in November 1979. Norris provided a confession that included details of the abduction and methods of torture. Both men were tried separately. Bittaker received a death sentence, while Norris was given life sentence in prison. The Hello Kitty incident. In May 1999, in Kowloon, Hong Kong, a 23-year-old woman was abducted by members of a triad gang after being accused of stealing money from a 34-year-old gang leader. The man demanded an additional $10,000 as repayment, which she could not provide. She was forced into a flat on Granville Road and held there for approximately 1 month. During her captivity, she was subjected to repeated assaults, including beatings with pipes, suspensions by wires, burns from melted plastic and candle wax, and the application of irritants to open wounds. She endured continuous physical abuse until she died from her injuries. After her death, the perpetrators dismembered her body and disposed of the remains. Her skull was later discovered inside a modified Hello Kitty doll at the apartment. The discovery led to the case being referred to as the Hello Kitty murder. A teenage female associate of the gang reported the crime to police after experiencing psychological distress. Her testimony provided investigators with details of the abduction and torture. Authorities arrested the 3 male gang members responsible. They were convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment, with a minimum of 20 years before eligibility for parole. The costume malfunction. On October 31, 2011, during a Halloween carnival at a city street festival, a 51-year-old man wearing a burlap and straw costume attempted to light a cigarette while in the crowd. The flame from his lighter ignited the hood of his outfit, which caught fire immediately. The materials of the costume were highly flammable and difficult to remove once burning. The man tried to tear the clothing from his body, but parts of the fabric melted into his skin. Bystanders at first believed the blaze was part of a performance. Many in the crowd were intoxicated and failed to recognize the emergency. Some individuals recorded the incident while others continued to dance. As the flames spread across his body, the man staggered through the crowd in distress. Eventually, several witnesses intervened and tried to extinguish the fire, pouring water and pulling away sections of the burning costume. Emergency responders arrived, and the man was transported to a hospital with extensive burns covering most of his body. Despite treatment, he died from his injuries. The Candyman poisoning. On October 31, 1974, in Deer Park, Texas, 30-year-old Ronald Clark O'Brien took his children, Timothy and Elizabeth, along with neighbors trick-or-treating. The group visited several houses despite rainfall that evening. At one home where the door was unanswered, O'Brien later rejoined the children carrying a handful of Pixie Stix candy tubes, which he distributed among 5 children, including his own. After returning home, O'Brien allowed his 8-year-old son Timothy to eat one of the Pixie Stix before bed. Within minutes, Timothy complained that the candy tasted bitter. He began vomiting uncontrollably and soon collapsed. His father called for help, and emergency medical services transported Timothy to a nearby hospital. Despite attempts at resuscitation, Timothy was pronounced dead less than 1 hour after ingestion. Investigators recovered the remaining Pixie Stix from the other children before they could be consumed. Laboratory analysis showed that each had been tampered with and resealed after being filled with lethal doses of potassium cyanide. The concentration was measured at levels capable of killing multiple adults. Ronald O'Brien was arrested on November 5, 1974. Prosecutors established that he had purchased life insurance policies on his children in the months before the poisoning. In June 1975, he was convicted of capital murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. The Orinda Halloween Party shooting. On October 31, 2019, in Orinda, California, a private party held at an Airbnb residence during Halloween escalated into violence. The house, located in a residential neighborhood, had been rented under the description of a small gathering, but more than 100 guests attended, many in costumes. Music and lighting effects filled the space, and videos from the night show a crowded interior with close quarters among attendees. At approximately 10:50 p.m., multiple individuals discharged firearms inside the house. Bullets struck both victims and bystanders. Panic erupted. Several guests tried to flee through windows and doors, while others ran into adjacent streets. The interior of the residence was left in disarray. Furniture overturned, walls marked by bullet holes, broken glass across the floor. 5 people died from gunshot wounds. 3 men in their 20s, 1 woman in her 20s, and 1 man in his 30s. Several others sustained injuries and were transported to local hospitals. Emergency responders secured the scene, evacuated survivors, and cordoned off access. Police investigations recovered multiple shell casings from different calibers, indicating more than 1 firearm was used. The Airbnb property sustained significant damage. Local law enforcement opened a criminal investigation into the shooting and surrounding circumstances. The Jerry Mark murders. On October 31, 1975, the town of Cedar Falls, Iowa, was quiet beneath a cold Halloween sky. Inside a small farmhouse, Leslie Mark, his wife Janelle, and their 2 young children went to bed after handing out candy. Hours later, around 3 a.m., a car stopped on the gravel road outside. A man stepped out carrying a .22 caliber rifle and entered through the unlocked door. Inside, the family slept. The gunman moved from room to room, firing multiple times. Leslie and Janelle were killed instantly. The children were found still in their beds. When neighbors discovered the scene at dawn, police found shell casings, tire tracks, and signs of a methodical attack. Investigators soon focused on Jerry Mark, Leslie's older brother, who had driven from California that night. Family tensions over inheritance and farm ownership had grown bitter in recent months.